one of the crazy things is, Rob, obviously you're sort of in your own world in Sydney, but when you go over to these international fight weeks, you're kind of hanging around all the champions, all these different fighters that you wouldn't usually hang around. I'm just wondering, what are some of the highlights of sort of hanging around International Fight Week in terms of running into other fighters and having chats with other champions? Because I saw you had a photo with Khabib. I mean, me and Casper met Khabib. He's an intimidating guy, but he was nice. Talk to us through meeting some of these other champions and some of these sort of interactions that you had during the fight week.
I guess, like, first
did
and
you
foremost,
speak to Khabib or?
Yeah, I did. So, like, I'm not a huge fan of meeting fighters in general, like meeting other fighters and like these International Fight Week and going to events, especially in the US. It's always different for me because we do live here in Australia, like across the world. It's hard. I'm not exposed to it a lot, and I'm very reserved. So I don't get out a lot to go see other fighters. And there's just always tension. I don't know. It's hard to explain because the game we're in is combat, and that makes it very. How do I put it this way? You don't just. It's hard to just win and beat people and then understand that you put a tally on the board. No, it's like to beat and to win your fights, or to beat your opponents, you're trying to inflict harm and try to break down your opponents. So that makes the game a little bit more real, in my opinion. So there's underlying tension regardless, across the board, especially. And then you have teams where this guy may be affiliated with this guy who you fought, or you may have beat a teammate of his, like somewhere down the track, especially when you move to the US. Those guys have a lot of teams, and they have teams with 3 or 4 fighters in the UFC, maybe more. Whereas in Australia, like with my team, we're still upcoming. There isn't any other UFC fighters in my team yet. Trust me, yet. But so there's that tension as well. And then if there's middleweights, it's like there's going to be tension. Everyone's eyeing each other
that was
up.
guys in other weight classes. That wasn't even getting to middleweights yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, exactly that. That's guys in other weight classes, because the teams and affiliations and just all that sort of stuff. It's it's a lot more. There's a lot more to it, and that's just me though. That's just me. Like there are some really social guys out there that can just slide into any scene out at the UFC with any fighter. Even a fighter they may have to fight, and just chill out and cruise out and be real chummy. Who's a good example of that is Wonderboy Thompson. He's a top guy. Like I don't think anyone could have a beef with him. Like he's a legend, and I feel like he could enter any scene and just be cool. You'd be like best mates in like a few minutes. But that's not me. That's not me. I can't play like that.
Sorry, go on.
But in regards to Khabib and Holloway, I spoke to them, and they're just straight guys. They're just really good people. Obviously we didn't sit down over dinner and have a thorough discussion on why we should like each other. But I like those guys. I think they're good guys, straight guys.
And we were watching another great episode of Grange TV the other day when we caught that story about you and Kelvin having a chat. And one of the things that stood out to us was you mentioned leading to the fight, you didn't really like anything about him. You wouldn't even eat Mexican food. Yeah. Is that true, Rob? Because Mexican food is delicious. So this is
it is delicious, and it was a sacrifice I had to make. I just couldn't. Yeah, I can't do it. Like it's just who I am. It's just the sort of guy I am. And I don't know why I do that. Maybe I'm crazy, but everything is about beating him. It's just him, and everything that he's involved with or enjoys doing or likes doing, I hate doing at that point. So it's just I'm just funny like that. I'm funny like that. I forget who it was, but I like spearfishing. I'm terrible at it, but I enjoy going out there and attempting to get anything. But I remember one time, one of my opponents, Fab, come up to me and goes, "You know who else likes spearfishing?" I think it was Tavares. He goes, "Tavares likes spearfishing." Oh, no. I was like, "Well, you just ruined that for me. I'm never spearfishing again." And I just wrote it off. then that's just how I am. That's just how I am. I don't know why I'm like that. It's just is what it is.
So you say funny, but I mean, you've obviously had a lot of success. So, you know, it's obviously something that's working for you. But this is a fascinating revelation because everybody knows you, like, so, you know, in media day and stuff. You don't talk trash about anyone. I don't think you ever really have. But underneath the surface, there's kind of like this dark side where you and this is the stuff that, like, we don't know, you know, like, you've always said nice things about Calvin. Do you do that for every opponent? Because I imagine it must be harder for some guys, right? Like, maybe for Israel it's easy, but for a guy like Rafael Natal, I imagine what you even find about those guys. But this is something that you do in order to win the fight, right? It helps you?
Okay, let me clear something up quickly. Just because I don't talk trash and I'm not mouthy and I'm not mouthing off like, you know, like I'm in the schoolyard, doesn't mean I don't take this for what it is. I am doing everything in my power to break you because we are going to go fight in an octagon. And I don't play this. This isn't a game to me. I treat this as if this will be my last fight ever. And I always have. And I don't need a smack talk to get in that mind frame. I'm already there. Like we're gonna go fight to the death in 70 months time, and I'm gonna give everything I have. I just don't smack talk though. But don't misinterpret that for me not taking the fight seriously. You can see every one of my opponents when we have the first face off or when we come face to face after the fight's been announced, they know that okay, this guy isn't playing. I'm not playing. It's not a game.
Yeah, and that's just fascinating, man, because I do think a lot of people sort of misinterpret that because you're such a nice guy. Just quickly, before we do get to Vegas and you stare down with Israel, what are a couple of things that you're not doing ahead of this Israel fight that have been kind of ruined because Israel does them? Is there anything that popped up? I know Mexican food with Calvin. Is there anything with Israel? Posting memes? He never really posted memes, though. That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, not really. Not really. He Not,
Are you much of a dancer? Do you dance?
No more crump dancing for Rob Whittaker.
Yeah. I've stopped crumping.
Well, you watch Anaheim, though, don't you? You watch a bit of Anaheim. Has he stopped you from watching your Anaheim leading into this fight?
Anime?
Anime?
Anime? Oh my god!
Wow, that is
Rob Whittaker of all people.
That is the weirdest way I've ever heard that said.
It's anime. I've been calling it anime for 30 years. What?
Oh
what?
wow!
All right. Well, there you go. What do you think of that? Do you still watch your Dragon? You have your own anime that you watch, right? Is he ruined that?
I watch tons, but I can't give that up. That's like.
Imagine there was an opponent that played video games. You'd be screwed.
He should give it up. But yeah. Also, I don't know why everyone calls me a nice guy. To be honest, like, but like I'm not nice just because I'm not a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like I'm just normal. I'm just straight.
Is it annoying to you when they always... Because we call you a nice guy because, honestly, behind the scenes, you've always been a really good guy to us, personally. And we've heard lots of great stories about the stuff that you do behind the scenes and the person that you are. So that's obviously why we call you a nice guy. But I think a lot of fans will call you a nice guy because I guess you don't really talk trash and you know, you've sort of got that warrior spirit. But does it annoy you that people sort of kind of put you in that category? Like,
it's a compliment. Like, for sure, it's a compliment. But I feel like my whole thing wasn't to be like I want to be portrayed as this nice guy. I want to go out there and become a saint, or I want to go out there and it's like just do charity work in all my off time. I just don't want to be a shit person, you know, which is funny enough a lot harder in today's day and age than it seems.
For yourself, or like from your own personal experience, or just in general?
No, just in society in general.
Yeah.
Everyone, especially in the MMA game, everyone wants to jump on each other. They want to shit on each other. They want to try and instead of improving and building their own careers or improving the scene, improving the sport themselves, they'd rather shit on everybody around them. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, you were talking about stare downs before. What did you see in Israel's eyes when you guys finally got to sort of face off and look into each other's eyes? And do you feel like he had that moment? You mentioned opponents see that you're not playing. Did you see that in his eyes?
Yeah, he definitely saw it. He saw I'm not playing. But he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy with a lot of experience. He already knew I'm not playing. He knew the stakes, and he knows how serious this fight is. He knows how hard I'm going to come out. Regardless of what he says. Like, that's just how it is. You don't get to where he is, you don't get to where he is underestimating everybody. He's had a lot of experience. To be honest, there wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot that I found out or that I saw, because I was ready for it all. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for. I've been training since as soon as I got better from Gaslam. I've been training. I've been in the gym working. As soon as I got better from the surgery. So and I'm hungry. As everyone likes to throw in my face, I haven't fought for over a year, and trust me, that affects me more than everybody else.